On our program today is Wendy Weiss, the queen of cold calling. She is an author, speaker, and sales trainer. She is recognized as one of the leading authorities on lead generation, cold calling, and new business development. Wendy, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here today.
Well, I'm excited having you on the program because one of the things I've noticed in working with our clients, it seems to be almost impossible to get salespeople to pick up what I call the 1,000-pound phone. That phone where they have to pick up and call into companies, especially when they're companies that they're not known. And you come along and you specialize in cold calling. So my first question I have for you today is this. Cold calling almost denotes something of the past, something maybe we did 10 or 15 years ago. Because a lot of the discussion recently has been don't do cold calling, warm up your calls, maybe send them an email, send a text. But you go right into your book, The Sales Winner's Handbook, which is essential scripts and strategies to skyrocket sales performance, that you really should be picking up the phone and talking to prospects. So why is it so valid today?
Great question, and thank you so much for asking it. First, I'll say that the bottom line is that no matter where one finds a lead, ultimately, you do need to talk to people on the telephone. And there are actually only 4 ways that one can generate a lead. The first is through marketing. That could be online, through email, direct mail. There are a lot of different ways one can market. And when it works, the prospects pick up the phone and they call you. And that's always great when that happens. The second way is through referrals, that you go to existing customers or your circle of influence and you ask them to facilitate introductions to other people that might have a need of whatever it is you're selling. Great way to generate leads and build a pipeline. The third way is through networking, and that might be face-to-face networking where you're going to networking meetings, the Chamber of Commerce, trade shows, conferences, or maybe you're networking online through social media like LinkedIn or Facebook. Again, another good way to build a pipeline. And then the fourth way is through cold calling, that you target the companies that you're interested in introducing yourself to, and you pick up the phone, and you call them and you introduce yourself. Now, here's the thing. The first 3 methods that I mentioned are essentially passive: marketing, referrals, and networking. They're essentially passive in that once you undertake that activity, you have to wait for somebody else to do something. So if your company is doing some marketing, you have to wait for the prospect to call you. If you're looking to generate referrals, well, you have to wait for that customer to facilitate an introduction. If you are networking, again, it's kind of the same thing as with referrals, because when you're networking, you hardly ever directly meet the person you want to meet. You usually meet people that know the people that you want to meet. And so, again, you're in this position of waiting for somebody else to facilitate an introduction. Cold calling is very direct. You target that company that you're interested in introducing yourself to, and you pick up the phone and you do it. It's actually the only way. It is the only appointment-generating or opportunity-generating activity that is directly under your control, and it's the only way to make up the difference between the number of opportunities or number of leads that you are finding through marketing, referrals, and networking, and the number of leads or opportunities that you actually need to hit whatever revenue number you're looking to hit. So the issue today actually is not that cold calling is outmoded. The issue is that it has changed and that most people do it really badly, and that's why it doesn't work for them.
Okay. Well, thanks for putting that in context. I never thought of those 4 channels you can do to generate leads and 3 of them being passive. I think that puts it in very good context. So let's go with that then. So you say it's changed. How has it changed?
Wow, there's so many ways that it has changed. First of all, in the old days, we didn't have a lot of information about prospects. And so today, there's a wealth of information about prospects. And the first thing that you've got to do before you ever get on the phone is do your homework and put together a very targeted list. Out of everybody in the entire world that might possibly buy something from you, who are the most likely to buy from you? Who are the most likely to come back and buy a whole lot more? And so there's some upfront work that needs to be done before you ever get on the phone. The other thing is that it is very difficult to get people on the phone today. And because of that, you need to be highly skilled and you need to be very strategic. And that's actually one of the reasons that I wrote the Sales Winner's Handbook. The old cold calling is a numbers game, smile and dial the phone 100 times a day, and eventually somebody's going to say yes to you. That just doesn't work anymore. So you need to be strategic, and you also need to be very skilled with messaging so that when you get somebody on the phone, you have something compelling to say to them, and you have some compelling voicemails that you can leave that will get the prospect to call you back, and that you have some compelling emails that you can send that will get the prospect to respond.